Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. In the headlines, President of the Dominica Bar Association says the profession has lost a champion with the death of Michael Bruni. Dominica encouraged to consider bulk water exports to boost its economy. And Grade 6 pupils to return to the classroom ahead of this year's Grade 6 National Assessment. The details coming up.
Corner, yay, and in our hearts we are with you. We are so grateful for all you do. We want to say thank you, 'cause when we need you, you're always there, risking it all to keep us safe. You are our heroes, so we sing this song for you. No matter the time, you're by our side to always make sure we are secure. Our hearts are filled with thanks, 'cause you give your all and more. So we send in our love from Sagicor. Yes, Sagicor, sending our love to you.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
First up in the news, President of the Dominica Bar Association, Heather Felix Evans, says the death of lawyer, magistrate and broadcaster Mikey Bruni still came as a shock to his colleagues, even if they knew he was not well. Mrs. Evans shared with Channel 5 News the circumstances under which she learnt of Mikey Bruni's passing.
I was in my office doing work, preparing for a case. And when I heard the news, it really took the wind out of my sails. Because while I knew that Mikey was sick, and I had spoken with him, it happened so rapidly that, I was not mentally prepared for it. Neither do I think others in the profession were prepared for it. So it was quite shocking.
She gave us a brief outline of Bruni's employment history.
Mikey started in the service in 1976. He started as an assistant teacher. I only learned that very recently. And he went away to study, and he got called to the bar, admitted to the bar in October of 1998. On the very same day he was admitted to the bar, he was appointed as a state attorney. And soon thereafter, he became the registrar. In about a year or so, he became the registrar. And he served as registrar of the High Court Provost Marshal until 13th of January 1993. So he was the registrar about for a period of 2 to 3 years. And when he left the registrar, he went into private practice. So he's been in private practice since 1993 up until his death. But even then, he was I think he loved the public service, and he loved service, as a matter of fact. So for the past 10 years or so, he has been engaged on a periodical basis as a magistrate and serving as a magistrate while maintaining his private practice. So he's had a quite busy practice. He's also an executive member of the Bar Association.
She says while Mikey was a professional, he was also known to lighten up a tense or stressful situation.
He's the kind of guy, he was a source of humor. He had a funny comment, he had some funny story to tell, and the way he would tell the story, he would have you in stitches, and he himself would enjoy his story. So he was extremely fun to be with, but he was also very serious. He took the law very seriously. He had a sound knowledge of the law. He had great analytical skills. The other thing, he had a very good experience, very great experience and knowledge about the operations of the registry, because he was the registrar. But what was most remarkable about Mikey, I found, was that he was very committed to the traditions of the legal profession. Court etiquette, he was very, very much into that. And how you address the judge. If you want to get a word to the judge, how do you just go and try to, no, you have to go through the registrar. So he was very much concerned about protocol and respecting and maintaining the dignity of the judiciary.
She says Mikey also provided some level of mentorship for younger lawyers joining the profession.
And he took them under his wing, and he made it, he made an obvious effort to really be an example to them. He would share his knowledge and expertise with the younger people and try to integrate them, bring them into the bar, and to connect, bridge the gap between the senior lawyers and the junior lawyers. He was very much into that. And he will be missed because he was a reliable, he was a kind person, very kind person. I mean, you call Mikey, Mikey will help, you know. If he sees a situation getting a bit tense, he would give a little joke to dilute the anxiety and to dilute the anger. So he was very good. He struck a very good balance between a serious lawyer, so that's a lawyer you have to take seriously, and a person who had such a great sense of humor that you just enjoyed being with him.
The Bar Association should be releasing a statement on the passing of Michael Bruni shortly. Meantime, General Manager of the Dominica Broadcasting Corporation, Cecil Joseph, says the nation has lost the contribution made by Magistrate Mikey Bruni on the national radio station. Mikey Bruni, described by Cecil Joseph as a community-oriented person, was a familiar voice on DBS radio during times of disaster, elections and independence.
Someone who cared about people, someone who understood fully what communication meant to the rural areas. And so whenever you would have heard Mikey speak, he was very clear on the issues of information to the downtrodden, the less fortunate. And so it was not a mistake after leaving broadcasting that he saw the need to return at the period when Kudme is required, when service is required. And so you will find that every year on the 4th of November, you will have heard the voice of Mikey giving the necessary information about not only Kudme, but telling people where you'll find the necessary broadcasters and the time that they will be there with you. And the kind of music that he would have played in the absence of the information that would have been given at the time. And then you would find the voice of Mikey around Carnival time, you know. And so you would hear him giving the descriptive words of the various activities that you would have covered. And it's not also a mistake that during elections, every election that the voice of Mikey would have been heard. The last one was the last election passed. And it's because of the rich information that he has gathered from broadcasting allowed him to be able to expound on the information given, and so people fell in love not only with his voice but the kind of information that he has given or he gave.
Joseph says Mikey was a leader who inspired those around him and has impacted programming at DBS in significant ways.
I remembered after Maria, Mikey did something, and as manager, Mikey did something when we needed people to come on board with us to disseminate information to the public at a stressful time. And one day I came into Studio One and I saw Mikey doing a program of Maurice Bishop and the anniversary of Maurice Bishop's death. And I was most elated. I was taken aback. And I sat there and I said to Mikey, you know, Mikey, I'm doing a program, Discoveries. and I'm going to take that style. So people have heard me since then, after Erica, having this Discoveries program where information is given via YouTube of relevance, things that we would have forgotten, things that some people would not have known of. But Mikey allowed me to go back to the archives and to search for relevant information so that I can give to the general public. And so Mikey is no more with us. What we should all do, many times people like to tell you to name something after someone when they pass. While that is fine, I think what as broadcasters we should do is to remember the joy that Mikey brought into the hearts of many. Anyone who met Mikey will never able to say to you that Mikey had a boring day with them. So I want us to remember Mikey not only as a broadcaster or as a person who was in the legal fraternity, but I want us to remember Mikey as the person who brought joy to our hearts.
We'll have more from Cecil Joseph on the passing of lawyer, magistrate and broadcaster Mikey Bruni later on in this newscast. In other news now, Dominicans reassured they have the skills needed to meet international demand for digital employment. Here's Andrea Louis with more.
The reassurance from Haggai Tai, CEO of Taptica International Limited, a global mobile advertising technology company. Tai was speaking at a webinar of the Israel Aid and UNDP-funded project titled Digital Employment in the 21st Century. The program is scheduled to be launched in Dominica soon to help with those who lost jobs due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Tai says Dominicans possess the talent needed to meet global demand.
Being in Dominica for at least 2 months, I'm telling you, there's a lot of talent in Dominica that is needs to be part of the global opportunities, because there's a demand from countries outside of Dominica. Let me be very clear on this. If we're gonna help people to participate in the global digital economy, it's gonna be wonderful. But as we start to help people to participate in this, they also need to increase skills. They also need to have new skills, because without the skills, it's going to be very difficult to compete.
The public is warned that continuous education and skills development are key in realizing success via digital employment.
Other countries and other population will have the same capabilities as time goes by to compete. We have some advantages in Dominica, which I'm going to cover soon, but don't think that if you're going to be online, finding a job for yourself is going to be enough. You will need to educate yourself, and you will need to do it in a disciplined way. Once a year, you need to give yourself another skills, because otherwise it's going to be difficult to compete.
Several reasons were given why Dominica is ideally suited to take advantage of the international market.
The first one is the English speaking. English is one of the main reasons how people choose suppliers to give them solutions. The second thing, and this is also a big added value that we have, it is the time zone. Dominica is on the same time zone as the US, and the US needs Dominica to help companies to bring more skills to those companies. Another thing that this is really important is the training capabilities. We do have in Dominica Academy. We do have facilities to educate people.
And exporting water in bulk, a suggestion on how Dominica can revamp its economy. The proposal from the Dominica Business Forum DBF as government outlines ways to boost the country's financial system. President of the DBF, Severin McKenzie, believes there is great potential in Dominica's water resource.
But one of the main things that we really would like the authorities to look at in terms of the economy and the production and thing is take a look at the exploration of our water resources. Not bottled water, bulk water.
McKenzie suggests Dominica engage a similar method to that of Venezuela's distribution of oil across the region.
Venezuela has oil, and they explore their oil resources. And what did they do with our islands? They came into our islands and they put up an infrastructure where they send the oil directly to the infrastructure, and this oil is distributed. Isn't it possible that Dominica could invest in the neighboring islands and put up storage tanks in the neighboring islands where we could then export our water to those storage facilities and distribute it directly to the grid in the islands? So instead of some of the islands depending on desalinated water, they could be getting water from the nature isle that Dominica manages, just as Venezuela does with the Petrocarib. Can't we do the same thing?
You are watching Channel 5 News. We'll have more after this.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD, all for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
Thank you for staying with us. Principal of the Convent Preparatory School is applauding a move to have grade 6 pupils return to the classrooms ahead of this year's grade 6 national assessment. Here is Andrea Louis with that story.
The date for this school leaving exam is Tuesday, 7th July. Following the announcement of the country's first COVID-19 case on 22nd March, children had been at home since Monday, 23rd March using e-learning platforms. Grade 6 pupils started returning to the classroom following the announcement of the exam date by Ministry of Education officials almost 2 weeks ago. Principal of Convent Prep, Shirley Lawrence, believes it is important that the children familiarize themselves with the new exam format and health guidelines put in place for this year's grade 6 national assessment.
That is why now our kids and all schools should bring in the children to have some dry runs. Use the same type of exams, you know, not what they're used to, the old mocks, but, you know, conform the mocks to what will be done on the 7th. And then the kids will just sail through. Because the children are not prepared for the common entrance in grade 6. You know, like for us, we start right in pre-K. You come and we're preparing the children all the way up. I think we have come to the consensus. Children need some closure from primary school before they start secondary school.
During the break, the school made use of Google Classrooms to ensure children were up to date with the learning material. Teachers also took it upon themselves to use other online avenues to engage children and parents. Mrs. Lawrence says regardless of the online learning, in-classroom teaching is important to gauge how much of the material the children understand.
I think we needed that. And we needed to see where they at first. So like they were given a diagnostic mock, you know, a comprehensive mock with all what that they should have known at the end. So we'll know exactly what they did at home and where, you know, where they're at. And that is what that has been analyzed by the teachers. So they're coming in from next week for us to tap into the areas we believe that they were weak, that needs a little strengthening, and just to strengthen areas that are already strong.
4 classrooms will be used to house the 35 children writing this year's exams in groups of 9. Teachers were commended for going above and beyond the call of duty to prepare children for the exams.
I just want to highlight teachers on the whole, okay, especially my own teachers here, okay, because when COVID comes along and they were thrown into this new platform, you know, they have embraced it And I've seen creativities that I've never known that they had before. And the dedication to the work, I just want to say thank you to them. I really appreciate the team that we have there and the work that they do.
In keeping with Ministry of Health guidelines, the head girl of Convent Prep ensured all pupils writing the exams would have his or her own mask and a bottle of hand sanitizer. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
And an incident which took place outside DBS Radio following Hurricane Maria captures the essence of who the late Mikey Bruni was. At least that's what DBS's manager Cecil Joseph says. This account took place during the curfew imposed in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria.
Mikey came to work one night and Mikey was stopped right in front of the gates of DBS Radio by the Jamaican forces. And I saw the police officer or the army officer in his army facade actually triggered a gun on Mikey, because Mikey had to be inside at that time. Because Mikey, I think, came to work for 9 o'clock. And Curtis Matthew and myself stood out there and we saw that and we tried to explain. And the officer didn't want to even hear what we had to say. And our disappointment, to include that of Mikey, was there was a local police officer, and Mikey had to say to the local officer, "Can you not tell the man who I am?" And I'm saying to say that we must remember Mikey in his humble way. He did not tell the guy, "I am the magistrate." He did not tell the guy that I'm going to work at DBS Radio. He felt that the guy was doing his duty and wasn't going to prevent the guy from doing his duty. And so he conformed to the rules. That's who Mikey was.
Mr. Joseph believes Mikey Bruni will be missed by many.
We in the broadcasting fraternity has lost a friend, has lost a comrade, has lost someone who was always willing to teach us, those of us who were willing to understand broadcasting. So I know at DBS Radio, when we heard of his death yesterday, we were all taken aback. I knew that he would have passed someday because I saw him about 3 weeks ago, going and visit a doctor, and it was heartbreaking to see Mikey. And I had a friend with me, and I said to the friend, this is how life can be.
Helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
To end the news, a look again at the headlines. President of the Dominica Bar Association says the profession has lost a champion with the death of Michael Bruni. Dominica encouraged to consider bulk water exports to boost its economy, and grade 6 pupils to return to the classroom ahead of this year's grade 6 national assessment. You may access the news on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.